Kumlena Blat Gemara. Today's daf is daf Mem Aleph. We are in the middle of the page. We're continuing to learn the laws of Shavuos, but Moedev and Miktas. So we're right in the middle of the page here. Actually, toward the bottom, 20 lines to the bottom of the page. Amar Rapapa said, middle of the line. We're going to learn a series of dinim regarding Shavuot of Moedev and Miktas and Shavuot. Amar Rapapa, Hi Manda Apik Shtar Chavri. Somebody produces a contract, a loan contract to his friend. And the borrower says, yes, it's true, but I paid it up. We say to him, Lav kol kaminach, we don't trust you. If you paid it up, then shtarcha biyodi my boy. Why in the world is the star still existing? Zil shalom, go pay. But the imam says, lishtabeli, the borrower says, swear to me that I still owe that money. We swear. And the logic behind that is it does happen sometimes that the lender didn't have access to the star at the moment. And he said to the borrower, you pay me back tomorrow, I promise you I'll give you the star. And they forgot. So therefore, because there's some possibility that he actually paid, if he insists that you swear, we won't do it, but if he insists, we'll tell the guy a shvua derabanan. This is following up what we learned before the shvuas hesses. I'm not going to introduce a new concept of a shvua, that even though you deny everything and you're part of generally Torah, but Rabbana came in and said, make a shvua, we want to make sure that everything is above board and transparent. I don't understand. So what happened here is he's coming along and saying he's questioning he's questioning the validity of the star. How is it different than the door? How is it different than someone who says that the star that you have is no longer complete? What do you mean? It says over like this: if the talking about a husband and a wife, where the husband says, "I paid you out the entire exhibit, let's say $200 there," and the wife says, "You yes, I got part of it, only $50 out of the $200 I got." So she agrees that the exhibit is no longer intact the way it originally was meant to be. So you will pay him your star, and I pay him a star. If somebody's paying him the star, the din is that she has to swear to be able to collect the rest, to collect the money. So how? So what's the chiddush over here? It's the exact same idea. Like over there, paying him a you have to swear if you want to collect the money. Over here also, the malva has to swear if he wants to collect the money, even though there's a star. Amalei, very different. Hasam there, because both of them agreeing that the star is no longer valid the way it is. Remember, Aleph near the bottom page. Afagav the loitoyin iu taninalei. Even though let's say the husband doesn't tie anything, we the business will tell the woman, you want to pass it, since you agree the star is no longer the way it's meant to be, you have to swear to collect the money. Anan zil here in our case over here, if the lender produces a star and says to the borrower, you owe me, that the borrower says, I don't owe you any money, we're not going to step in, we're not going to intervene. We say to the borrower, you gotta pay. No, we say to the borrower, pay. But the itoyin, if the borrower says, I know I paid, and swear to me, then we'll tell the lender, zil shtabli, go swear. Because generally speaking, if he still has a star, then obviously you still owe the money. It could be, there are circumstances that the guy paid back the loan, but the malva said, I don't have a star with me, I'll give it to you tomorrow. So it's only the leiva who can create that condition. So the leiva has to be the one to say, swear to me that I didn't pay you back.
He's got the star still in his possession.
The lender.
So we have two possibilities. Either there was, like you said, a shikha, you forgot a year ago you paid me the loan back. I forgot about it. Now I found the star when I was cleaning for Pesach. So if you forgot a year,
way around. We're saying that the borrower. Yeah. We're saying that what do we know what happened? But the borrower said, "I paid you back. You told me you give me the star the next day, and I forgot to ask you for it. I forgot to ask you for it. So no time goes by, and now suddenly you're coming on with the star." That whether the lender is honest, according to the borrower's version, the lender forgot and he thinks I didn't pay. If
the lender's a liar, so
swearing false is a whole different category. No, swearing false.
So what's he suddenly going to remember now?
Maybe he'll trigger his mind. Oh, so people don't remember. People don't swear willy nilly. But this is a very interesting thing, especially when Rashi learns. If let's say the lender is a rov, then we don't make the lender swear. Why? Because the moment you make the lender swear, it sounds like we don't trust him, and we don't want to cast any aspersions on Talmud Chacham. So it sounds like what? He just takes his money. I'm gonna, yeah, actually, I mean, as nice as it is, just because the rabbi, he can take people's shirts off. The fact is that the halacha is the borrower says, swear, didn't pay you back. He has to swear because he's a tamachach. He doesn't swear. He just can't. We don't make him swear, like we just said, and nothing happens. So it sounds like from Rashi, that's it. So the borrower loses out. The borrower loses out because the Talmud Chacham is there, and so on. Or not forget, because the Talmud Chacham is not going to swear. The Talmud Chacham is not going to get paid. The borrower doesn't have to pay until the lender swears. The lender is not going to swear. We're not going to bring him to court because he's a Talmud Chacham. So that's not fair. So some of the Shainim learn that no, it's up to the Talmud Chacham. If he wants to swear, he collects. We're not going to force him. But the way Rashi sees the learn portion of the Pshat is, that's it. We throw the case out of court. We don't schlep him in. Sorry?
It's only the case for the Malvis.
We're talking about where the Leiva said, only that case. Yeah. No, the Leiva says to the Malva, I want you to swear. So we said, Leiva is that kindle. We're not going to go any further with it. We're not going to even tell the Tamachachim to swear, which means the way Rashi learned, that's it. The Tamachachim loses out. Doesn't pay to be Tamachachim because you'll get your money back. Mashiach other Shayim learn that no, that it means it's up to Tamachachim whether he wants to swear or not. But we're not going to force him. Second one, right? It says the Mishnah Money Yomi $100, and then he says, yes, true. And then the following day says, I paid you. So we have an interesting machlekes. Very had the Marksubas. General rule is if you lend somebody with eidim, you don't have to pay back with eidim. But here we can find there's a machlekes. There's two versions of what Rabbi Yehuda Amasi. Somebody lends his friend with eidim. The first version is Rabasi. You have to pay back with eidim. When it was said before Shmuel, this din Rabasi. This is Rabbi Yehuda saying. I said it to Shmuel. He told me, the guy can say, okay, you won't tell me you have to have eidim. Fine, but there's still a way out. He can say, I had eidim and I paid you back. Where are they now? They traveled overseas. Can't find them. And he's believed for that. I did pay in front to eidim, but they went overseas. He's believed for that. So that's the chumrah is that you need eidim, and Shmuel's kul is that if he says there were eidim, we trust the labor, even though they're not around today to confirm. So okay, let's see our Mishnah. The Mishnah money be $100. Yes, the following you pay me in the satilach. I gave it to you between yesterday and today. Potter is potter. Even though, okay, he admitted in front of Adim. The loan itself was not with Adim, but he admitted in front of Adim. When I demanded the money from you, who was Adim's present, and then it's no different than if I lent you with Adim. It's the same if I lent you with Adim or you admitted to me in front of Adim. Either one's the same thing. Uktani Potter, yet he's believed to say Potter. Is to you to Ravasi, I'm out of Adim, so here he's believed to say I paid you back even though they're no Adim. Now, according to Shmuel, it's not a problem. He can say it's talking about I gave it to you in front of Adim, and they left town. They're not here today, so we can't bring that. But according to Ravasi, we don't trust you at all because you lent money with Adim, you have to pay back with Adim. So how come over here he believes? Ravasi, how can you compare the loan with Adim to an admission in front of Adim? What's the whole part, Ravasi? If I lent you with Adim, what am I saying? I don't trust you. So if I lend you with Adim, it's as if it's tantamount to me making it tonight that the only way that I'll consider it a payment is if they're in front of Adim. But if I lend you without Adim, just because later you admit in front of Adim, the fact that I lend you without Adim proves I do trust you. So therefore, my din doesn't apply. So what are you talking? Bring me the Mishnah here. You lent with Adim, I don't trust you. I trusted you. I lent you without Adim. Just now he admitted in front of Adim. It's a different story altogether. That's one version. Rabbi Yosef Masna Hoch. Rabbi Yosef, however, had another version of what Ravasi said, exactly the opposite. You don't have to pay back with Adim, because if I wanted with Adim, I should have made a start. The fact I didn't make a start and there's no shibud and else means I do trust you to a certain extent. But the Imam much stronger. Because the Shtar has a shibud, karkois.
You said that the only thing the Shtar does is establishes the aid.
Yeah, but Shtar gives you Shibuda, yeah, right? You can go to the borrower because there's a coil. I'm saying whether you hold Shibuda rights or Shibuda the bottom, the Shtar gives you the right to collect from the Kuchas, from people who bought properties. Adim give you no right to milva pet. The Imam, and he says, Al Tafri I made an open condition. Don't pay me back Ella Adim. That's not a whole It has to pay back with Adim. So Ravasi now is Makel, right? You don't have to pay back with Adim unless he otherwise clearly says this is stipulates. I want you to pay back with Adim. No, ki amrite kamei Shmuel. What Shmuel's input in this? Shmuel's input is a cooler in the din where you need Adim. Even in the case we made it tonight, I'm stipulating you must pay me back in front of Adim. He can still say, I did pay back for Adim. And they went overseas. They're not around. So this is Shmuel's kula is always an Adim, but the first version of the kula isn't that thing that you have to pay back with Adim. You can say I paid, but they're gone. And in this version, if I stipulated clearly Adim, he can still say I paid and they're gone. Tanan, we learn the way Tasis learns. Remember, the Tasis adds as a few other shapes another layer. Shmuel's chiddush is not only I can say I paid you back for Adim, they're gone. As a result of that, he doesn't have to pay back with Adim. Even if you made it tonight and said, I want you to pay back with Adim, he could come along and say, I paid you back with Adim, but they're gone, and you'd be believed. So now, even if I paid you without Adim, I have a migli. I could have said I paid you back with Adim, and they're gone. Now that I tell you I paid you back with no Adim around, just Beini Beinocha, it doesn't matter. I'm believed because of that migli. That's the Chiddush of Shmuel. Even we made a stipulation, Al-Tafyeni Elabei for Adim. Anyway, talking about right now, let's go back to our Mishnah. Yes, he said, I gave it to you. If he made a condition clearly, only in front of Adim, and the next day he said, I paid you back, and he's chayv. He should have given Adim to Shmuel. Shmuel said that he could have said, I gave her Adim, and they're gone. And as a kash on Shmuel. So Tzai says, what's the kash? He could have just said, I gave her Adim, but then the reason I'm chayiv because there were no Adim. What does the Mishnah say? The Mishnah says I made a condition with you. It has to be in front of Adim, and then and I said the next day I paid you back. I'm not believed. You know why you're not believed? Because I didn't give it in front of Adim. I didn't fulfill through. Who said we're talking about a case here where that I gave in front of Adim, but they're gone and we don't believe you? Kasha and Shmuel. So Taisha therefore is machadish that Shmuel goes a step further than that. Therefore, if I tell you I pay you, but just if I pay just between ourselves, I'm still believing because I'm migui. Mishnah clearly says that's the kash. So Shmuel said, you're right. It's a machlekes tanaim. Amalok Shmuel tanoy actually machlekes tanaim. Tan milu nebraisa be'edim he'll be sicha be'edim partly. The Malva says clearly, openly says, I lent you with Adim. I want you to pay him back in front of Adim. So either pay me or bring me a raya that you pay back. Rabbi Yehuda ben Seder says, Yochel loy meloy. The guy can still say, I did pay you back in front of Adim. The one overseas. So clearly Shmuel, Rabbi Yehuda ben Seder say the same thing. And I'm sure here's a question tonight. Porich Rabachoi. In the beginning, Ksubah says that when it says in Gemara Rabachoi, it's actually Rabachoi the Baal Shultus, and it's like not part of the Gemara. It's like afterwards. This is actually a Shultus from the first Goinim, or you can't call me a Bonaswarai, but the first Goinim. Others disagree. Porich Rabachoi, Memai de B'Shas, even says Rabachoi, Memai de B'Shas Havokoi. How do you know? How do you know? He said, I don't understand. How do you know that this was said at the time of the loan? Maybe this was said when the time they came to pay the money. That was he took me to bed and he said, "Pay me," and the guy says, you didn't pay me. Didn't I tell you that you have to pay back with Adim? But he never said that during the halvoi, or the first time he said it was in Bezin. And maybe that's why he didn't say the Patzasim, because it wasn't a condition. But he wanted, how do you know B'Shas Havok that he said this at a time alone, and therefore it's a condition? And then you want to ask a Kasha and Shmuel, or you want to bring a Raya for Rabbi Yehuda ben Seder answer Shmuel. See here, it was a condition of a thing, Adim, and yet Rabbi Yehuda ben Seder says he can say, I gave it, they're gone. Maybe this happened during the court case, or when he demanded it from him. He said to him at the time of payment, he said to him, Didn't I lend you money with Adim? So you should have. The Adim had the loch leparani. Not that I made it conditional at the time of the loan. Maybe in my response to this didn't tell you, I said, "What do you mean you paid me? I lent you with Adim. Isn't it obvious that I want you to pay? Isn't it obvious I want you to pay back with Adim?" So it was never a condition. But in the case of Shmuel, maybe there's no time to agree with Shmuel. Shmuel's case was he said, "Al tafrieni el Adim, el Adim." In other words, he said, "Claude, it was a Tanai." Who says that anybody holds? In this case, I can say, yeah, I paid in the gun. So make it be so flippant about it.
Whereas here we're talking about it was implied.
Yeah, implied, exactly. And that's what it says, that he could say, it was only implied, and I don't have to. So he's saying he can't even bring it out, even say that to Shmuel's din. Oh, but a puppy, mashmei the Rava, these two brothers never got on. A puppy and a puppy. A puppy says in the name of Rava, Hilchasa Hamalvas Chavei Beidim, son of Beidim. He says if somebody lends money to Adim, you have to pay back with Adim. Like the first version of Ravasi. And Papa made the Rava, Amar Hamadl Adim ain't Tzadach Lefor the Adim. You don't have to pay back. Like the second version of Ravasi.
Both in the same class and they took different class.
Yeah. Well, Bimam Al Tafri Ein Yel Be'edim, but he clearly stipulated, pay me back for Adim. Tzadach Lefor Be'edim, you have to pay back for Adim. Bimam Allah, if he says, Praticha B'fnei Pliny, the whole Chulhem, Zian, overseas, Neman. So in other words, we paskin like Shmuel. We paskin like Shmuel. And by Emerson, some of the Shainim have a guess here, ain't of them. So in other words, the machlek of the Shainim, what the Papa actually said. So we're no wiser. Simon, Reuben, Shimon, a number of dinim we're going to learn about Reuben, Shimon, the Tanu, Hilchasa, Yasi, Apara, Pliny, Avtzi, Srati, Behemusa, Kibeitre. Okay, says the Gemara. When you're going to pay me back, not only did I stipulate in front of the Adim, I nominated the Adim I want you to pay back in front of. Also, he paid him back. He used Adim, but not those two Reuben and Shimon. He got two other Adim. And now they're having a dispute and they didn't tell you. And the Malba says, I don't care which end you live. I don't trust anybody. I told you Reuben and Shimon, these are the only trustworthy people that I have. You didn't pay back in front of them. You didn't meet it tonight. So therefore, you didn't pay. It's not considered payment. Or you didn't pay me. Abaye says, the Ikka Kvetch is not Reuven and Shimon going to buy. The Kvetch, I want Adim. You have it. No, he can argue. I told you clearly, all I want is Reuven and Shimon, in order that you don't push me away. In order to push me. No, therefore, I don't trust anybody else. The Rashi learns is the Malva says, I think these Edom are liars. That's why I don't trust them. I don't trust Reuben and Shimon. And Taisus finds that a bit hard to say. How can you say they're liars? What do you mean? The fact is that they're Edom. So Taisus has a little different shot than Gemara, but that's how Rashi learns. But he can say, because Rashi, what he's saying here is, I don't care what the halacha says. I'm making it tonight that the only time I'm going to consider it or a payment, and I trust that you pay me. I'm going to trust you that you paid me, is if you said you did in front of Reuben and Shimon. When you pay me back, not only do I want Reuben and Shimon, but I want it should be Tamid Achamim. Probably Bapi Beitrei the Tonu Hilchasa. Not going to show why he needs that, but I want two Eidim that are Tamid Achamim and pay me back in front of them. Also, he paid it back. Bain delay le delay. So it's even worse. Not only he didn't get Tamid Achamim, he didn't get Eidim at all. He paid it back between themselves, and he gave it to the lender. And then what happened was Isnisu. Something happened while I was in the lender's possession. Some illness happened, and the money is lost. The money got lost. This money got lost. Also, the lender took the borrower to the Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman, if you know from the Gemara, is a very tough diet. Remember, if you don't do this, I'm going to take your palace away from you. He was a very tough diet, no monkey business. Amalek. So the Malba said, yes, Kibuli, interesting argument. The Malba, obviously, he was a Shikul Tamachachim as well. It says, Kibuli Kibaltinam. I agree. I admit, I took the money from him. But because I made it conditional that it should be in front of him, so when I took that money, I didn't take it between Tashlumin. I took that as a Pekadon. Till we find Tamil Achamim, then we'll turn it into a payment. And at Pekadon, what was I? Shem Mechina. And Shem Mechina was Pater from Einzin. So therefore, I'm Pater from Einzin, he still owes me money. He didn't meet the Tanai. That's what the Malva's argument was. Keep Baltina Minay there, Pekadon. I took it as Pekadon. Baminullah had a Gabay Pekadon, Adisam Beitrei. I thought I'll remain ashamed of Pekadon until we find two, the Tonu Hilchas, so that no halachas, then we'll fulfill it tonight, then I'll consider payment. Amalei Nachman Rabbi said, Kiva the commodity, since you admitted the Vadesh Kalkinumene, since you admitted that you took the money, then Premayabe, he paid you back. He paid you back. And Rashi actually says it, and since what you had in mind of anything else, Dvorish Shvulav ain't Dvorim. And Kiva Egi on the side, he says, it doesn't say Rashi. And if let's say Dvorish Shvulav have Dvorim, what right does the lender have to say that the money the borrower paid, I'm not going to accept this payment? The borrower said, I'm paying you back your loan. The lender can't say, I'm not taking it as a loan. I took the money, I'm taking it as a precaution. You can't do that unless the borrower agrees that, okay, I'll give it to you as a precaution. You can't. Anyhow, now Ramachman doesn't stop here. And he updated the Kiyubit today. You worried about your tonight? I'll tell you what we'll do. He said, Zil Aisinu, go bring the money back here. Minadin, everything is all right. Go find the money, bring it back. And you want to fulfill your tonight. I know Rav Sheshes. I'm not a Mapelkind, and you have Rav Sheshes here as well. The Tadid that we know how to learn, we learned Hilchasa, we learned Halachas, we learned Sifra, we learned Sifri, we learned Tosefta, we call it Talmud, we learned the whole Shas. Bring your money here, and we'll fulfill you tonight. The problem is no money. The money was lost. Anyway, stolen. I would have a friend Havli Mayazuz. Have a minute, I'll tell you an interesting story of some cycle. I would say similar to this. However, a guy said, his friend Havli Mayazuz, give me $100, those Yiptra that I lent you. The bar was said, Lahadam, never happened. He went, also he went, and he brought witnesses, but the witnesses said, didn't help either one out. The witness says he borrowed. It's true he borrowed. This guy's a liar, the borrower, but he paid you back. He's like, you're a liar. The difference is that he paid back. He can always say he forgot that he paid back. What do we do here? The same Adam who said that he borrowed the money, no, he owes it, said he paid it back. Rava here a little bit tough. Rava, man, no. We have a rule. We say it a few times in Shas. Whoever said I didn't borrow, why would you pay back the loan that you didn't borrow? So and therefore, even though the Adam say that you did pay back, we know that Hadas Baldim Kimei Adam done me. If I say I owe you the money, and the fact that you said you didn't borrow means you never paid back. So we've established that you borrowed the money from the Adam. But you said you didn't pay back. Now, when did you say you didn't pay back? By saying you didn't borrow. Now, even though sometimes the Gemara we tight his words when he said I didn't borrow, it means it's as if I didn't borrow because I did pay you back. But because the Rishonim say because he used the expression of lahadam, lahadam is different than saying he didn't pay me back. Lahadam has never happened in such a strong language. Is not you can't tight your eye that I borrowed and I paid you back. You never use the word lahadam for that.
Isn't it a Pesha also Pesha Hitter situation? It's his words that committed him.
No, the Adim. The two Adim came along and said, yes, he borrowed and didn't pay. And your pair is saying, I never paid back because I didn't borrow. Why would you pay back? And therefore, your pair hurt yourself. I remember I asked Shaila about a certain Rav here in Melbourne without any details about certain halacha that there was said name Rabbi Yosef and the name of Rabbi Yosef. So I got someone that just told to ask both of them if it's true, because I couldn't believe it. It's against Shulchan Aruch. And both of them wrote the exact same word. Lahadam. Lahadam. Lahadam is very strong. As Gemara says right here, Lahadam is a shame right here. Lahadam is much stronger than saying, I don't know you the money. Taking the right down. The guy says a friend. Give me $100 mosquito ball. Give me $100. I'll lend you. But didn't I pay you back in front of these two people? Also, pliny. I'm Lahadam. They both said it never happened. So who's the kafir? So now this borrower is definitely established himself to be a liar. So no point even making him swear or anything because we can't trust him anymore. In other words, if he says afterwards, I paid you back, I paid you back without the Adim, too late. You already established a liar. Rabbi says no. Here, Rabbi is lenient. Why? Rabbi, Kol Milsa, we already had this before already. The guy said, I was never standing by this Amud and turned out to be once a urinated there. And Rabbi says the rule there, and we're going to apply it here. Kol Milsa, Leirami, Alei, the Inish, Labadaita. Things, details which are not important. No, it happened to be two agents there. I don't remember, there wasn't a condition that had to make it in front of agents. It just had to be people standing around, and I thought they were standing around looking. I thought they were there. It's not important to the fact that I paid you back. The most important thing right now, my focus is on that I paid you back. So therefore, because it's not that important, I didn't have to pay him for an agent. Remember, you said halach is even if you borrow it from an agent, I have to pay it back. So because it's not important, it's trivial. Okay, I made a mistake. We're not going to call this person a liar. I was looking against it. Here's another case where the Rav is differently. Give me back $600 that I lent you. Did I give you back? Meya kavi avse gave me back 100 kavim of avse. That's the gold. The gold of the kaime. She said that each kav is worth $6. So I gave you 100 kavim. Each kav is six more. So that's $6. I pay you back. Amalei, the guy said. Lav ba'abo kaime. They were worth only 4 each. So you still owe me $200. Also, today Sadiq came along to it. Says, yes, at that time we know for sure it was worth 4 kavim. Amar said, "Who's the kafrin? The guy is definitely a liar." Amar I understand. You just said before, people don't remember details. The amount of the going rate, the market price, people remember because that was the geya. The game is very important then to know how much am I paying you back. I'm giving you kavin of a fatim. How do I know how much it was? So you needed to know. You did your homework, whatever it is, so you don't forget such a detail. So knows he's a liar. He tried to get away with saying 6 when it actually was 4. The only problem I had with the Gemara is the guy, the claimant, asked for 600. He's also a liar. Now he's asking for 200 because Aiden came along and said, yeah, he gave a, or he admitted, or even wasn't he himself changed his mind. But he came along and said, Habli Shis Meya. Give 600. So he's not much better.
I mean, why does Rabbi have to come up with this?
No,
there's Adam. Adam came
no. The Adam are just saying the market price. And not saying.
What's wrong with this thing? 600. He says I gave you 600. Was the value of.
No. The guy says why he only owes him 200, and your mighty only owes him 200 because you're saying that I already got this. So you should have said where's the balance? Yeah, I'm saying you should have balance.
Yeah.
Anyway,
because the halva was for 600, he's mentioning that halva.
I guess you're gonna have to touch that in. I'm just saying, is that such an honest person either? Only Robert said, guys, his friend Habli Meyazuz. Okay, we'll stop over here. It's not in the I'll just quickly tell you a story of some shapers. Remind me, there were 2 guys who had a geschäft together, and they were going home. They made a lot of money, and they were traveling home. It was Erev Shabbos. They came to the city where the Chassam Sofer was. It's a famous story. Came to where the Chassam Sofer was, and they had nowhere to put it. So they went to this. They saw Yeshua Tzakrum Eidah, and they went to him, and they deposited money by him. He lived upstairs in the building, and they asked him to hold the money for them over Shabbos and not to return it to either one of them until both of them come together. They didn't trust each other. Okay, Kachala came Motzei Shabbos. And one of them was older and tired, and they called Reuben Shimon. So Reuben said to Shimon, "You go upstairs and get the money, and I'll wait for you downstairs here." And Shimon said, "But he won't give it to me because we made up together." So Reuben said, "Don't worry, I'll scream out from downstairs." So Shimon went upstairs to this person, and he asked for the money. And the person said, "Hey, we made up both of you together. Reuben, can you give me the money?" And Reuben said, "I'm asking, give him the money." Okay, gave him the money. Reuben is waiting. Shimon doesn't come up. Turns out there's a back door in the apartment building, and Shimon took the money and ran. So Reuven took this old man to a dentator, to the Chassam Sofer. And the old man tied down, "What do you want? You screamed from below and everything else, and I followed your instructions." And Reuven's argument is, we made a deal that you can only give us the money when we're both standing in front of you. And we weren't both there. You breached the sign that we made. Just because I screamed downstairs doesn't matter. So Chassam Sofer said, this is a psak. He said, I believe that Reuven is 100% right. That you had no right to give the money until both of them are together. And then he turns to Reuven. So therefore, he can't give the money now either because you have to both be together. Go find Shimon, bring him into the dentator, and we'll work it and we'll get the money. And that's how he passed. The same idea. Okay, bring the money back. Okay, a good day. We'll continue tomorrow.